For activity 3.7 in Intro to Engineering Design, we are practicing using statistical analysis with Excel. In class up to this point, what we've learned is how to enter data into Excel and create a simple equation to convert from our feet and inches class height to decimal feet. We have that done. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to review using functions to calculate our mean, median, and mode, and I'll also do our range. So if we scroll through, we've done this up to this point. Make sure that your spreadsheet is formatted to look like this. So your spreadsheet should look like this at this point. I have some sample heights built in, and I have my decimal feet calculated using an equation. So let's go back to our assignment here, and let's take a look at this. So we're going to skip to number 5, where it says format height measurements in decimal feet to show 2 decimal places. How we can do that is by highlighting all of our decimal feet here. And if we click on home, these buttons right here show how we can increase or decrease the decimal. So our decimals that only show 1 decimal place will show 2. So if I click increase decimal, now I've increased. So now they all match at 3. We only want it to show 2, so I'll decrease the decimal by 1. And now they all show 2. I'm going to make this spreadsheet look like our assignment spreadsheet. And what at the end of this assignment, I'm going to do this in multiple videos, our spreadsheet will look something like this. So we have our mean, median, and mode, and we're just going to keep placing our information off to the right. And it'll be easiest to do it that way. So I'm going to go mean, median, and mode. It'll look slightly different than this. So I'm going to go ahead and start typing this in. So if you want, you can change your height of students. Just formatting, you could change that to bold if you want to make things look a little cleaner. And then we could go over here and we can type mean, median, and mode. And as always, feel free to pause this video as you're working so that you can work along with me, and then you can jump back in. So for mean, we typed in mean, median, and mode. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this cell right here, F3, and I'm going to go up and click on the insert function button. And now mean in Excel, they call it the average. So if you have average in your list, then you should use that. If you don't, then let's pretend I don't have average in my list. Then you go up here to the top and you type average and you click go. And there's the average in your list. So I click OK. And what am I finding the average of? I'm finding the average of all of my decimal feet. So I click and drag and select all of that. And then I hit OK. There's my mean, median, same concept, click on that, insert function, median is here. If you didn't have it, you would search for it, click OK, and click and scroll, or drag, not scroll. There's my median. Now mode. Mode is a little different, and when we were talking about this in class, I had to look this up, but I figured out how we can do our multiple modes. So for the data that I have, my modes are kind of hard to see. So before I do that, let's sort this data from smallest to largest, and it'll help us find our mode. So what we can do is, starting with decimal feet, drag all the way down to the bottom. Now it's important that you include the decimal feet portion of this or it won't sort properly. So start there above all of your data and drag down to include all of your data. Then what you can do to sort this and find how many modes we should have, we can click data and filter. Instead of going to sort, we can filter just this section right here, and that helps make things easier. So if I click on filter, it gives me a little arrow right here. And now I can click the arrow and I can sort this selection smallest to largest. And it'll ask me if I want to expand the selection, which will include my feet and inches, and I just want to hit sort. I want to do that. So when I do that, now all of my information sorts from smallest to largest, which is really useful for both mode and when we have to calculate our range later. So if I look at this, my mode, I have 5.33 appear twice. I have 5.54 appear twice. 5.58 appears twice. So that's 3 modes so far. I have 5.83 appear 3 times. Oh, I meant to delete that just for our example's sake. So let's say I have that appears 2 times. So there's 4 modes. And then 6.08 also appears 2 times. So there's 5 modes. So what I can do is underneath mode, I can click and drag 5 cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I hit insert function, and I use the mode.mult is the mode I want to use because it means I have multiple modes. So I click OK. And I want to do the mode of all of this data right here. Before you hit OK, the way you get multiple modes to show up is you hold down Control, then Shift, then hit Enter. And that's just how Excel does it. And when I do that, then it shows all of the modes of my data set, which is kind of cool. So I can have it automatically do that. Now the thing that you kind of have to do that's kind of a pain, but if you use the sort function, is that you have to count the modes yourself so you know how many to choose. If you didn't know how many modes there were, what you could do is you could just select, just to be safe, a bunch of cells, and then you could go in and do the mode.mult. And what would happen is it would just output as many as it counts, and then the rest it would just say NA. So then the extra ones just don't matter. And you could just decrease it by clicking and dragging this square if it'll let me. No, it tells me I can't change an array. So then you would just be left with NA, and that's not the end of the world either. Okay? So that's mean, median, and mode. The last one we're going to do is range, and the last ones we're going to do are range and standard deviation. So if I do range, remember range is just our smallest to our largest. Well, since I sorted, it's very easy. I have my largest number and I have my smallest number. So range is just going to be subtracting those. So I hit equals and I do my largest minus my smallest. Make sure you click on the cells, don't type in the numbers. And then I hit enter, and there's my range. And then the last but not least, I can hit function, standard deviation. Again, if we can't find it in our list, you type it up here. Standard deviation is STDEV, and I can hit OK. And I'll find the standard deviation of this information and hit OK. Oh, I meant to do it here and type standard deviation. If your standard deviation does not show up, then what you can do is if you hover over the lines between E and F, you could drag that a little bit and make it bigger. Or if you double click where it looks like that, it'll automatically resize to be the right size for you. So there we have mean, median, mode, range, and standard deviation. I'm going to end this video and then we'll come back and we'll talk about doing our histograms and our frequency tables and our what's called descriptive statistics table, and we'll go from there.